Welcome to the Buying a House in Japan podcast. My name's Take,
And I'm Joey.
and we're two friends who just quit our corporate jobs and bought a cheap house in rural Japan.
The goal of this podcast is to document the highs and lows of the process while informing you of every step you need to take in order for you to do it yourself too.
We're by no means experts, and we're doing this for the first time, but we hope this gives you a realistic expectation if you embark on this journey yourself, and we hope you enjoy the show. And we're back. Happy New Year's, Joey. How you doing?
New year, new me.
Year of the Dragon, right?
Yeah, Year of the Dragon. That's right. That's I'm Year of the Dragon, 1988.
Year of the Dragon.
Strongest one of them all. Is the strongest character.
I would agree, actually. I wish I was a dragon, or maybe a snake. There's a year of the snake too, right?
What's your animal?
I'm a year of the horse. Pretty strong too.
Oh yeah, 1990. My brother's horse too.
Yes, sir. It's what year is it in Japan? Like Reiwa
6, though I don't know if it like starts at a different time of the year or if it's January 1st. But yeah, 2024 Reiwa 6.
Got it. For anyone listening, Japan has this like weird year system that goes off. Is it emperors or I don't even know.
It's emperor related, at least.
Okay. I like to flex. I tell when people like ask how old I am in Japan, I'm Heisei Ninen, just to show that I know about Japan a little bit.
I'm Showa. I'm the last year of Showa.
I totally don't even understand what all that means. But anyways, Akeome is what we say in Japan. Happy New Year's.
The only, it's fine, whatever, the emperor year thing. The only time it's been annoying is cars. The cars, you go to the used car lot and you're trying to figure out how old the car is, and it's always like, hey, say something, and you got to do the calculation on your phone.
Why can't everyone just use 2024? Happy 2024. I like the numbers 2024. Feels good. It's gonna be a good year, Joey.
I agree.
All right. Well, lots happened. Whoa, what a couple of weeks. We usually try to record every week, but we missed 1 week here. Give us some updates, Joey. What's been happening on everything Akiyamart, everything we've been doing? A lot has changed.
Yeah, so January 1st, Akiyamart hard launch, V1 launch. So this is a project me and Take have been working on since, I think, May of 2023, which is our website, akiya-mart.com. It's a search and discovery tool to find properties in Japan. You know, there's properties on here, $5,000 all the way up to $5 million. It's got a pretty good user interface, so definitely check it out. January 1st was our launch date. Up until then, it was in beta, and we've got users now.
Air horns in this, Joey. I think. Bow, bow, bow. We definitely. There we go.
Congrats to us. We got a product now.
Whew. Yeah, right before the hard launch, or before the hard launch, you know, to be honest, wasn't sure how well received it would be. We hadn't done too much external posting, but we did post on LinkedIn. Most viral post I've ever posted. Thanks, Joey GPT, for crafting that. First off, I think we got 1,000 likes or something like that. We got 150,000 impressions. We got hundreds of DMs and requests and so much positive support. So thank you, everyone. If you're listening to this from LinkedIn, it means a lot that, you know, we've been working hard on this for the past couple of months without really too much positive feedback until now. I feel like we've got an tidal wave of positive feedback, which feels great. So this hard launch has actually opened up quite a few doors. We've had a lot of people coming up from every different direction to support us, and we've got a lot of cool ideas and a couple cool products hopefully coming out. Be on the lookout for maybe a wait list, right, Joey? That might be coming out soon.
Waitlist for a new product. We're definitely on the lookout for the direction to take Akiyamart in now. We did get a lot of good feedback from that viral LinkedIn post. That was really great. And now we're sort of trying to figure out the right product market fit, where now that people are actually using it and giving us, telling us what they think about the product. Yeah, we're trying to pivot to whatever direction the product needs to go in. So that's sort of where our heads are at.
Yeah, even us buying the house, it got so much support. You know, I think so many people have been laid off this year, and seeing that unaffordability in the US and seeing how much we bought it for Japan, I think we did gain a lot of followers. We haven't launched this podcast on LinkedIn, hopefully doing that next. But if you're listening to this, you were laid off, and, just know there's an alternative to buying a cheaper house in Japan. And, there's other options out there. So much support and love there that feels like we made the right decision, Joey, even though in the moment we were like, "Ooh, this seems. I don't know if we should do this," kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a risk. I moved back home with my parents to to start this, so definitely, you got to take some risks to do this kind of thing. It was scary, but yeah, 2023, we made a bunch of big moves. Well,
24. Let's
let's see
go.
what happens.
We haven't made it yet. Our bank accounts are pretty weak, but just wanted to say we are donating for the month of January and February, all proceeds from Akiyamart to the Noto Earthquake Relief Fund by the Japanese Red Cross Society. So, we're not making a lot, but anything we are making, we want to support Japan. We couldn't make this product without Japan in the first place. So, which brings us to our timely topic of today. We're talking about natural disasters in Japan and kind of what to consider when it comes to purchasing your property there. I know there's a lot on the news. It's scary hearing about everything happening in Japan. So we wanted to kind of just break down our opinion. We are, I would say, pretty well versed in natural disasters, Joey, in a weird way, with earthquakes and things that are happening in our lives. So just to start it off, I want to talk about the unfortunate Noto earthquake that happened on January 1st, 2024, 7.6 earthquake in Ishikawa Prefecture. Joey, where the heck is Ishikawa? That was my first question. I'm not too familiar with Japan geography all the time.
Yeah, Ishikawa is, how do I describe this? If you go northwest of Tokyo, straight across the Honshu Island, you'll hit Ishikawa. It's kind of got like a arm that reaches out north of the island. That's Ishikawa Prefecture. I think they're building a new Shinkansen there, or someone had mentioned there's a new Shinkansen going up there.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of interest in Tochigi or something. We'd seen on Akiyamart like a large number of interest there.
Toyama.
Toyama. Oh, that's right. That's right. But
Yeah, right next to Ishikawa.
yeah, dang, Japan just can't catch a break. Unfortunately, I think 128 people died, 513 injuries, and more than 1,500 homes were damaged or collapsed. I wonder how many of those were Akia, Joey? How many of those were built when? I don't really know.
Terrible news. I saw pictures of it online. Some of these neighborhoods were flattened. It was quite shocking.
Yes. In a lighter note, it's funny. You had mentioned, like, is this Gaza or is this, you didn't
Yeah, it
realize it
looked
was
really
Japan.
bad. It looked really bad. I was watching the news at the gym and I was confused about what the images I was seeing for a second.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you want to donate, Japanese Red Cross Society, I think is the best place to go from our research. Again, we're going to be donating all funds. So if you want to donate, you can also just be subscribed on akiyamart.com for the pro account and we can donate for you. So yeah. All right, Joey. Now onto the quiz show section of the podcast. Are you ready? What do you think are the top natural disasters ranked by frequency and impact in Japan? There's 6 of them.
Okay. 6, earthquake, top one.
Ding ding. Correct.
Second one, let me just think in my head. I would say some contenders. This isn't my final answer, but some contenders would be typhoon, tsunami, landslide. Has a volcano erupted? I don't think so. I wouldn't consider a volcano. Okay, I'm gonna pick.
Oh, you actually just nailed a couple of them. Yeah, I mean, just saying
I'm gonna
you
go
got
with tsunami next for
Oh, correct.
yeah, just
Dang.
the amount of damage it causes.
Okay. Next.
Next, I would go landslide,
Wrong.
typhoon.
Yes, sir. Typhoons is number 3.
Yeah, probably maybe because of the frequency. And then is landslide on the list?
Landslide is not on. It is on the list. Sorry, but surprisingly, number 4 is volcano eruptions.
Really? I wonder what's
Yeah.
erupted recently.
I'll go over it in a sec. So we got earthquakes, tsunamis, typhoons, volcano eruptions, landslides, and there's one more, number 6.
Natural
It's related to rainfall.
Oh, flooding.
Yes, sir. Those are the top 6 natural disasters in Japan, unfortunately. It's funny. I was looking at my transcript the other day. The only class I got an A+ in college was the natural disasters class. I remember it was like the easiest class I took at UCSD.
I mean, I almost just aced the quiz right now without
You
studying. So.
almost did, but just to add a little information to that. Yeah, number 1 is going to be earthquakes. Japan is plagued with earthquakes. Seemingly like every decade at least they have a big one. Big reason they're located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, so geographically they're already in a pretty bad spot for this, and with earthquakes come tsunamis, Also, Japan just being exposed to typhoons and where it's at. I think every May or October, there's always like one. I can't even keep track of how many typhoons there are, but seemingly like they're increasing.
Yeah, I saw a map recently of like the tectonic plate or like the rifts or whatever in the plates. I don't know what that's called, like in and around Japan, and it was crisscrossing all over the islands. These like the fault lines. There was a map of the fault lines in and around Japan, and I thought maybe it was just like in the water around the islands, but like some of them go through the islands.
Dang, Japan. Actually, on the volcano eruption one, which is number 4, our place in Beppu is close to a volcano. Remember who was saying that? Maybe it was Fumi. The reason why we have so much hot spring water is because there's an active volcano. I think it's
Yeah,
Mount Aso
yeah.
or something like that, right? I remember. But hopefully a volcano does not erupt. We've already had a fire in the neighborhood. We've had an earthquake in the nation. Fingers crossed we do not get any more of these, but the reality is we probably will at some point, right?
There's a guy on Instagram. I'm gonna knock Matt in Japan or some guy like that. He does a lot of skiing. I follow him, but he's in Niigata, I believe, and he was posting some of the earthquake videos like as it was happening. And he said he went outside, and the first thing, all the neighbors like in his neighborhood there, they were all looking up at the mountain because I guess they got a live volcano there too. They were all kind of wondering if the volcano was causing it. Is the volcano going to blow?
Mm-hmm.
And that was yeah. I guess I'd never really thought about volcanoes erupting in Japan. I feel like I've never heard of it, but apparently it happens.
Dang. Well, for anyone listening that's never experienced one of these natural disasters, they are definitely a real thing in Japan. Kind of flashback, Joey. Joey and I were studying abroad the year of the giant Tohoku earthquake in 2011. Joey, where were you during that earthquake?
Yeah, I was yeah, this is the Fukushima related earthquake. Yeah, I was in me and Taki lived in the same dorm, second men's dormitory, 2MD, and I was in the second floor bathroom. I remember at the time it happened in the morning, 9 a.m., something around that time. And yeah, I was sitting on the toilet, and I remember this was the strongest earthquake I had ever been in. And I remember like it was strong enough where I was like, okay, don't they tell you to stand in a doorway or like under a desk or something like that? It was strong enough that I was like, okay, I got to get into a doorway or outside or under a desk or something like that. So I just, just had to pull up my pants right there, and I like went into the doorway of the bathroom. And I remember other people, it was, yeah, I could see out in the hallway, and other people were doing the same thing too.
It was funny. I think I asked you or asked someone to take a photo of my room. I was actually flying that day back to California for like spring break. There was like it was some break I think at ICU, so I'd been headed back. So luckily, did not experience the earthquake. But someone sent a photo of my room, and it was like everything was falling over. Then I posted it on Facebook. I got a flashback whatever Friday photo one time. People were like, "Yo, that's what your room normally looks like." I'm like, partially true.
No
Like,
change.
no change. Like the chair was falling over, and that's about it. But
I don't
uh,
remember too many things falling over, but yeah, it was very big.
yeah. So we've been in natural disasters. I don't know if I'm cursed, but I've been part of maybe 5 natural disasters. 2004, I think there's a big Thailand earthquake. I was there for an abacus competition. Just missed it. Flew out. 2011 flew out also of Japan the day of the earthquake. 2014, I was on Everest during that earthquake. I think 2016 or 15, there was an Icelandic volcano that blew up when I was there. I'm cursed, dude. Stay away from me. But
Cursed.
anyways, it gives us we're natural disaster experts now, right?
I don't know if we're experts, but we've been in some ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that brings us to kind of our topic of, if you've never been to Japan and you've heard on the news all these natural disasters, they are a real thing, right? So, when purchasing a property in Japan, especially in some of these areas prone to natural disasters, it's important to consider. It's definitely non-negligible, right, Joey?
Yeah. Especially, I remember we were pretty concerned about being in a landslide zone. That was one of the
Mhm.
things. Beppu is very hilly. I don't know when we first started looking into that. Maybe we were looking at some map or something like that, and it mentioned landslide, and we were like, oh. And then did a quick Google search, and it was like Kyushu has the most landslides in Japan each year. And I was like, okay, maybe we got to pay attention to this. And then we started noticing all the cheaper houses were built, on the slopes of hills in the
Yeah,
landslide zones.
but the view was so good from that one property that where it was landslide prone. Remember, Asami Lux is what we called
Yeah,
it.
Yeah. And I mean, and also coastal areas, you need to worry about
Mm,
tsunamis. Coastal properties aren't probably going to be cheaper, but yeah, if a house is cheap, there's likely a reason for it.
totally. And I
Could be
know
natural disaster.
particularly banks will not give out loans if you're in a certain disaster zone. So if you are planning to get a loan, that's definitely a deal breaker, I think, right? If a bank's not going to give you a mortgage for it, but most of us are probably buying in cash. So do your due diligence. I think there's a couple ways to pull up like flooding maps. They had a landslide map, I think, right? They had just like
Yeah.
elevation maps and stuff. So know the area you're looking at before you buy, just to kind of consider what natural disasters there are, and there are some resources to look at too.
Yeah, those maps are pretty. I'd say they're dense. They're all in
Hmm.
Japanese. They're hard to find on the internet. You know, you're looking
Hmm.
at Japanese government websites that I would say they're like it's hard to get this information, but it is out there.
Yep, totally. Yeah, I think we covered a little bit when identifying your property too. We were about to buy, or we did buy kind of sight unseen. Luckily, we had Ziv, our intermediary, go to some of these properties, and he was less like, "This is really close to the mountain." He showed us a video over Zoom of
Yep.
like how close our house was. So definitely get
He
at
was
least
sca
that Zoom
Yeah.
call.
He was from the call, we could tell he was a little sketched out, so we're like, "Okay, probably not a good sign."
Yep. So do not buy a house sight unseen. Best case, you go check it out yourself, or if not, have someone check it out before you do purchase it. Right.
Yeah, these type of things, you're not gonna especially that one property where Ziv was a little sketched out, I feel like that wasn't in the pictures. Like, maybe we kinda on Google Maps, we knew it was on a hill, it had a good view, but, like, you I don't think we would have been able to figure that out in pictures.
Totally. Well, I think in our last episode, we talked a little bit about why houses are so cheap. And it's just pretty common for people in Japan to be used to these natural disasters. Maybe not desensitized, but it's almost like it's almost expected once a decade, I feel like, for houses to fall down and need to be rebuilt. So with that, I know one of the big problems with Akias right now is that because there's so many abandoned houses, a lot of them are not earthquake proof. And we countered a little bit of this. Our house was built in 1977, Joey. So I think it had some earthquake proofing, but we definitely wanted we're renovating it right now and we are definitely considering it. Like I know the city was going to support us or something, right?
Yeah, yeah, a couple things just on what you mentioned there.
Hmm.
When we opened up the wall, like me and Taki knocked down a few of the walls when we got there, and there's like these strange cross braces, and
Hmm.
I cut one off, but apparently that was part of the earthquake proofing from the 1977 building code. So our contractor is putting the necessary things back in place. But yeah, so I think there were some standards when our house was built.
If I remember correctly, Fumi mentioned that the city of Beppu also has some pot of money that they award grants
Yep.
per year, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was around like 6 to 8,000
Uh-huh.
US about that. Maybe there's like maybe not hard to get the money, but maybe slow
Hmm.
for you to actually get
Bureaucratic.
the money in your pocket. But I think they do. If you're renovating a home there, you need to check with your local city hall or whatever. But it does sound like there are programs probably all across Japan to retrofit your home up to the current earthquake standards, and you get some money back, about 6 to 8,000 American.
Yeah, we didn't go through this formal process, but if I remember correctly, it was like the city would send someone out to kind of Taishin check your place, and then they would then I think offer there's like certain contractors that are earthquake certified maybe by the city,
Yep.
and where they will then use that granted money to do the work. And I remember Fumi, our fixer, mentioned like there might be a little bit of an inside job too. I don't know, right? Where they could be upcharging, or if you're a city certified earthquake kind of proof contractor, there's I don't know. It seems like a little bit. We didn't want to go through it, one because it's bureaucratic, but also seems like it was going to be more expensive to when our current contractor could do the same thing, right?
Yeah, and I think it would have also slowed down the timeline as well. We wanted to move quickly with our contractor and get him in there, and so we were trying to move quickly. I think The other interesting thing to note about getting the city and these like earthquake licensed contractors is that it seems like it's a requirement for Airbnb property as well
Mhm.
to have at least someone from the city licensed or whatever to sign off that this building has been earthquake proofed up to the current standards.
Yeah, I think we'll update you on that soon as we are going to try to go for our Minpaku or Airbnb license. Joey, we definitely should chat after this about double checking that, right?
Yeah. So for anyone else currently thinking about Airbnb, we'll get back to you with more information on that. But very likely, you probably want to find a contractor that has this license.
Yep. Cool. Now going back, I know if you're on Akimart and you're considering buying a house, you're looking at different aged houses. I want to just give a quick breakdown of what we learned on basic eras on where houses were earthquake proofed. High level, there's 3 or 4 eras I'd say that really stand out when considering age for house. So anything post World War II or early post-war buildings in Japan were not designed for earthquake resistance in mind. So let's say everything before the 1960s, or there's basically no earthquake resistance thought in mind. So if you're looking for a really old wooden kominka and there's an earthquake, I wouldn't be super optimistic, even though they're cool.
Yeah, but they're built. I mean, they're
They're
kind of built like
sturdy.
tanks too, so that's the thing in their favor.
Yeah, hard to say, but I mean, they weren't designed with a seismic thought, but the craftsmanship I think was pretty high back then.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the 1960s, 70s, close to the 80s. The building codes were incorporated and more stringent, but looking at our house, it wasn't like there was no crazy seismic anything underneath. Our house is just like concrete pillars, right? And a couple like diagonal wood posts.
Yeah, I would. My general impression is flimsier than I expected.
Yeah. And then lastly, I think the big trigger for Japan was in 1995. They had a big Kobe earthquake. This earthquake was, I think, so bad that they really overhauled structures and building standards. So, if you're looking at anything post 1995, I think you're good, or at least it should be able to withstand an earthquake better. I mean, just with age. But if you're looking at 1995 post that, I think that's where you're kind of golden, at least for general earthquakes. I don't know how it'll handle like a huge earthquake, but that's kind of the three chunks that we see and we're considering when we looked at our house.
Kobe earthquake. I watched something on YouTube recently. There's a bridge. We actually took this bridge, Take, when we drove from
Oh, is that super
Arima
big one?
Onsen. Yeah,
Yeah.
so from Kobe to the island, it actually
Mm-hmm.
stretched 80 centimeters. And so the bridge was supposed to be something like, I don't know, it was like a whole number. Let's say it was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, 1,000 meters long or something like that. They had to, in the end, build the bridge 1,000 meters and 80 centimeters because the
Mm,
construction was started before the earthquake and completed after. And like the island separated from the Kobe coastline by 80 centimeters during that earthquake.
okay. Earthquakes are scary. If you're looking at houses, old houses, you got to do earthquake stuff. 70s, 60s, 80s houses, probably got to do some earthquake stuff. Anything newer, you're probably good. I think maybe that's why there's so much concrete in Japan. I wish our house was like a concrete house.
Yeah, I heard the concrete structures are more earthquake proof, and they also have a longer lifespan according to the accounting rules there.
When was our dormitory in Japan? We went to this dormitory. We lived in this dormitory called 2MD. It was like basically a giant
1950s
1950. It was like a concrete block though, right?
concrete block. Yep. They tore it down, they said, because it was, at the end of its lifespan, but I think it had many more years left in it.
Yeah, it totally survived. I feel like it survived the best after that earthquake, right?
Yep. Yep.
Jeez. Anyways, yeah, if you're looking at properties, those are the kind of areas to look at. Again, retrofitting is probably going to be a good idea, especially if you're going to Airbnb. We'll fill you in more on that, but just expect that if you see a house for 10K or 5K, that you're going to need to put some money in it if you want it to have longevity. There is, of course, I think basic home insurance, earthquake insurance, fire insurance in Japan, which were quite inexpensive, but you need to double check before buying. It's nowhere near what I'm paying here in California for earthquake and fire insurance, but it is something to consider when purchasing a place in Japan. All right, Joey, a lot about earthquakes. Unfortunately, that's the real the real truth about Japan.
The reality. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's a
really, I do feel like our house would not have survived, maybe would not have survived even with even after this earthquake proofing that we're getting the contractor doing, if the Nodo earthquake had happened in Beppu. Our house is flimsy, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things they were doing that were actually interesting is we talked to our contractor. He's putting in like an earthquake secco board. What is secco board? Like plasterboard or something?
No, it's drywall,
Oh, just drywall.
gypsum. Yeah,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
maybe. Yeah, it's like a specific drywall that has, you know, according to the earthquake code, this is what should be used, type of thing. I don't know if it has some flex to it or what it's used for, but that is part of the retrofitting he's doing to bring it up to the current earthquake standards.
Yeah. Joey, what would you say to the buyer who's interested in Japan, who's just seen this earthquake happen and is, kind of on the fence of buying in Japan because they're afraid of these natural disasters?
I
Tough
think
question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still bullish. I think they should still go for it. It is something to be cognizant of, though. I trust in the earthquake stand. I trust in their building codes. I believe that they've done that. Current building codes are probably the best earthquake proof building codes on the planet at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you were to buy a property and then just make sure your contractor sticks to those rules in the updated earthquake building code, I think you have the best shot out of anybody of having your home survive that earthquake. So it is a reality on the ground. It is a very natural disaster prone country.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that the benefits outweigh the risk here.
Totally. And just reminiscent, I remember seeing like the aftershocks. I was there, at least in Japan, for some of the aftershocks, seeing some of the buildings just sway seemed very, I was like, whoa, that's amazing. Human architecture can start
Yep.
capturing, I don't know, being seismic resistant. So
They've got a test lab, an earthquake test lab in Kobe, where they built this. They built it after the '95 Kobe earthquake. It's this giant floor that moves, and they build like to scale buildings in it. It's a massive building, and they build like to scale buildings inside of that on top of this floor. And they take historical earthquake data from seismographs. So this floor can move in like in all three axes, left, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. And so they basically map the exact same earthquake so that they can take the Fukushima earthquake, the Kobe earthquake, and then see how a building will perform under those exact conditions. I feel like Japan's gone this far in terms of updating their building code that they built this huge earthquake laboratory. Like I trust in their building code standards. If you can get your building up to those standards, I trust in that.
yeah, I guess the silver lining is that like Japan's so used to these earthquakes that they're probably more ready than any country. I would say if California, or when California or San Francisco goes through another earthquake, I can't say confidently that we're going to be in good shape after it. So I do believe that the constant rebuild culture of Japan long term has some value, right? And to your point, that the testing and the thought behind the buildings now are, it's going to be on top of every builder's mind in Japan of like, hey, is my place earthquake proof? Hopefully our contractor is thinking that as well. We should actually message him about that.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, that's it for today. We got so far in Japan, Joey, there's been an earthquake since we bought our house. There's been a fire. We haven't had tsunamis, typhoons, volcano eruptions, landslides, or floods. But hey, we're in it for the long run. Let's see if we can. Hopefully, we don't check off these boxes, but we're ready for them.
Yeah. 2024, big things.
2024, let's go. All right. See you later.